Ms. Robinson, you're back in court today because you say your mother, Ms. Harms, has continued to commit paternity fraud. She's now claiming her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Long, is your biological father, but you believe she's lying.
Yes.
Ms. Harms, you say your daughter's suit has no merit, and today you will prove Mr. Long is her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Long is here, but like you, Ms. Robinson has strong doubts about your paternity. We'll meet in a few moments, but first let's take a look at your previous court appearance.
I hope he is my daddy. I really do. Because I really need a dad. I really, really do.
I've always told her who her dad was. It's not Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
Oh my God. Dude, who is my daddy?
I can tell you, he ain't your dad. But no, I'm lying. So let's go get the other one and come right back here and do this again. I'll tell you.
Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Long into the courtroom?
Sure. Mr. Long, watch your step.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Long. Ms. Robinson, I want to start with you. Why do you believe your mother has committed paternity fraud?
Your Honor, I feel that my mother has been committing paternity fraud my whole life. I've never got a straight answer on who my father is. It was one or two guys, two or three guys, you know, no certain name. I'm too old for this.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that's a lie. I've always told her who her father was.
No, you haven't.
I've always, and I never kept any secrets from you.
Mom, you never told me who my father was.
My mom kept secrets.
You gave me names of who could be my father.
No, I've always told you from birth, sweetheart, that who your dad
you did
was.
not, Mom.
Your Honor, she refuses to believe me, as like she did with Mr. Moore previously.
And so, Ms. Harms, you said you told her from the beginning.
Yes,
who
Your
her
Honor.
father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
And who is that person?
Mr. Long, Your Honor.
Why would she not want to believe you if she's looking for her father?
I don't know why she wouldn't believe me.
Because she lies a lot.
I know I have not lied.
Because I'm 36 years old and nobody's really gave me a name of who my father
Your Honor,
is.
she said I lied last time.
You
and
did.
I was proven to be right.
That was just luck that he wasn't my father.
It wasn't luck. It wasn't luck.
It was luck.
It wasn't luck.
Yes, it was.
You can't just look at a person
because that was your boyfriend.
Big eyes and gray hair and assume that's your father.
It doesn't have to do with big eyes and gray hair. He always told me he was my father. He was your boyfriend.
Well, I'm gonna make you happy today because Your Honor, I'm here today.
Good, because guess what? If you don't make me happy today, I have nothing else to say to you.
Ms. Robinson, I would like you to take a moment and just walk your mother through and talk to her about how difficult it's been not knowing who your father is and, more importantly, having to go through various men and find out that they're not.
Yeah, the journey has been very hard.
Let her speak, Ms. Harms, and then I will let you speak.
Me in school, doing sports, basketball, softball, volleyball, never nobody showing up to my games, sitting there, all my friends got parents there, I have nobody. I had a baby at 18 and one at 20. It has not been a day that I have not been there for my children 1,000%, not 100. And I know who their fathers is because I wasn't promiscuous. And nobody could talk me out of my panties. I was with those, that's it.
I'm not gonna sit there and let her say that about me. I'm
gonna
not cheesy like that. What do you mean talk me out of my panties?
But you let people talk. You
don't act like you wasn't out there doing wrong yourself.
I never did wrong.
Okay?
I needed a father.
You're listening
now. You're on listening
when me and you didn't have a good relationship, it would have been times where I wouldn't have went in my room and said, I hate my mom. I wish she wasn't here. I can't stand her. If I had a father to run to, I could have got over that. But instead, I've always held hate and resentment against you. I mean, and I'm a student with straight A's, the best athlete. Everybody knows me where I'm from. I mean, I was that deal. But I have this bad secret, and I gotta be that deal out in the streets, but go in the house and sit in the bathroom and cry. You know what's sad.
So you're this celebrated athlete. Everybody knows who you are.
Yes.
And you're holding this secret in, that you don't know who your father is. Now, Ms. Harms, I want you to respond to your daughter. I'm not sure how well you listened.
She's always had a dad.
I'm not sure how well you listened.
Maybe not her dad at that time.
Ms. Harms.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not sure how well you listened. Did you hear her?
Yes, but I'm trying to...
Now respond to what she said.
It's difficult talking to her because she acts like she's my mom half the time.
I'm giving you your moment.
The way she talks to me. Maybe she choose a better choice of words talking to me.
What? Because every time
Hold on, let her
You're a
respond.
liar.
Let her respond.
I would just
Let her
ask
respond.
you. I would just ask you who my
See what
dad
I'm saying?
is.
I can never get a word in.
Who my
That's
dad
why I don't
is.
try to
Well,
help.
neither one of you let the other one get a word in,
That's
and
right.
that's why we're not getting
That's right.
anywhere. Ladies, I know there is a lot at stake here, and I know this is emotional.
Yes,
I know
yeah.
it is. It's hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ms. Harms, you stand here and say, you know, I've told my daughter from the beginning who her father is, she just didn't want to believe me. What's upsetting you right now in this moment,
The
Ms.
fact that she sits there and lies.
What
And if
lie
I didn't
is
raise
she
her-
telling?
If I didn't raise her, she wouldn't have or be who she is today.
You didn't give me to. I know
That's
exactly.
just like pretty much
A
everything
person
you have,
who's
I've
strong
given
because
you.
they took care of themselves.
Pretty much
Okay.
everything she has, I've given her. Every time I
No.
get any new furniture, anything, I give everything
That's just
to
you giving me stuff.
Any
I didn't
amount of
ask
money you
for it,
wanna
though.
borrow
Ms.
from me, I
Robinson?
give it
I
to
didn't
you.
never ask
Ms.
you for
Robinson.
I've always
anything,
had her
though.
back. So she can sit here and lie as long as she wants. But today, Your Honor, the truth will be revealed.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Ladies, what I see here is there's so much at stake. Not just finding out who your father is, that's
I'm
important,
related- my kids
but
are
your
related.
relationship with your mother.
Yes.
And like you said,
We
you
don't
have
have
children.
one.
That's their grandmother.
We don't
Yes.
have one.
That's your fault, though.
No, it ain't. She get mad at me. She won't let me see my granddaughter's or my great-grandson.
You never
That's
let me see
wrong
my
with
daddy,
you.
though. I
You
never
always
saw
knew
my
who he
grandparents.
was. You're 37
Who?
years old.
I didn't even
Sit
hear
down.
about him until I was 10.
What, you act like you couldn't have went? I told you always knew who your dad was.
Where was I gonna
You knew
go
we were
at
in
10
Georgia,
years old?
Marietta. You knew he lived next door.
You see how she puts
to my
adult
brother.
stress?
Ms. Harms, are you
Child.
suggesting that a 10-year-old child was supposed to go
I
around the
was
corner and
taking
ring
her.
the doorbell?
She was a baby. I would go there and visit. I would knock on Mr. Long's door.
he would have saw
and
me
take
there.
her over there every time we went, every summer.
Ms. Robinson, do you remember
knows
going to
that.
visit Mr. Long?
Never.
Mr. Long, do you remember Ms. Harms bringing Ms. Robinson to see you and saying this is your father?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever seen Ms. Robinson?
No, ma'am. She says that she came to see me, but I don't recall that.
Did
I
you
was-
think
where's all
you
these
were her
men at?
biological father?
It was possible because, you know, it was said, and then she sent a picture to my mom.
Like,
A year.
Your Honor, gave him, Mr. Long, 9 photos of her ever since she was growing
Well,
up.
that's
Your
why,
Honor.
Ms. Harms, I want you to allow someone to testify because his testimony was corroborating with your
Thank you,
statement
ma'am.
that you reached out.
Thank
so
you,
see,
ma'am.
that's why we on listening station.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm listening.
Mr. Long, you said she sent you pictures?
She sent me a picture when she was first born, a year after she
So
was
when
born.
she was first born, she sent you a picture.
Right.
So why does a woman send you a picture of a baby if she's not saying you the father?
Right, she didn't say I wasn't the father. She said I was the father, but I had doubt because, you know, she was supposed to be sleeping with someone else in my family, which was a cousin.
In the family.
Supposedly now.
I
And then
ain't
some
never
more
heard
guys in the neighborhood. So
Supposedly.
that's where the doubt came in.
So Mr. Long does state that what you said was true. He did receive a picture.
Yes, ma'am, but he
you
left a
did
whole
reach
lot of
out to him.
detail out too, Your Honor.
What other parts of the details
I
did he leave
sent
out?
8 pictures and you sitting there acting like I never brought that baby over to your house every day.
I don't recall.
Yeah, and you're nothing but a bold-faced liar.
You said you brought the baby over to
Yes,
his house.
ma'am. Every time we went down every summer to visit my grandma and papa.
I don't recall that, Judge.
No, because that brain is old.
And you would bring the baby.
Oh, God.
Hold on, one at a time. So you would come see him.
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
his family.
Yes, Your Honor. Walk right in the kitchen, they cooking up collard greens and everything. Your
Does your
Honor,
family know about Jennifer, Miss Robinson?
They've heard
Oh,
of
God, here
Jennifer.
we go.
They've
They
seen
never
a
meet
picture
me.
of Jennifer. But as far as knowing Jennifer and conversating with Jennifer, they never have.
So you knew she was pregnant.
Crazy.
I knew she was pregnant.
And then after she had the baby,
Afterwards.
did she say you're the father?
Right, she did say that.
So then why was there no follow-up? That's what she's been saying this entire day is that I said Mr. Long was the father.
The follow-up was I couldn't contact her. I didn't know her last name anymore.
You knew. You're
He never
sitting up
tried
here
to help
in
me
denial
find
and
Jennifer.
lying.
Hold on, so Ms. Harms, I want to understand this from you. Why did you disappear? When you were taking the baby, you say you were taking the baby over there and he acknowledges that you at least sent pictures.
And Your Honor-
Did you feel rejected? Why did you just disappear?
I kept it like that because my dad was like, me being young, who's the dad? I'm gonna kill him. I kept it to myself.
You as a young girl you were taking the baby over to his house or you were sending these pictures, but this was all in secret.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you didn't want to tell your...
Oh, my God.
You didn't want to tell your
The family never
parents.
told me that
I
he
told
was
my mother.
dad, Mom.
I kept it from my dad.
Not
You
at
didn't
all.
tell your dad,
Yes,
but you told
Your
your
Honor.
mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson, you say you've been told various names. You've been given various names, but never Mr. Long.
I never heard of Mr. Long until I was 10 years old. I walked past her in the kitchen. She looked at my body and she stopped me. She said, Jennifer, I got to tell you something. She said, the way you're looking, the way your body's looking, I got to tell you that when I was younger, I went to Murrieta, Georgia, and I slept with a boy named Anthony Long. She said, your body looked like theirs. You look like his sister. Of course, I blew that off because I look like him, and him. Like
So
that.
from 10 years old, Ms.
Long.
Robinson, once you hear this, you said you had been told so many things. At that point, you just blew it off and kept moving.
Because I didn't have a dad anyway. Everybody claimed me.
Did you
Even
think
Mr.
about
Moore.
Mr. Long?
Did I think about him? Yeah, I always wondered, I wonder if he does look like me. But of course, I couldn't get any contact with him.
But you said you were caught up in a web because every other man in your life was claiming you as something.
Yes.
Your Honor, she had a father. It may have not been her biological father, but my mom and dad raised him till I got on my feet out of the Army, and I came and got you when I was able to take care of you.
And nobody really took care
And
of me,
Your Honor,
though.
may I present my evidence?
Yes.
You, ma'am, please.
Take a breath, Ms. Harms. This evidence that you are presenting, Ms. Harms, is picture
Yes, ma'am.
of your daughter,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Robinson, and Mr. Long.
Looking like everybody. I look like all the men.
Yeah, to you. Oh, everybody got big eyes.
No, ain't
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it.
Ms. Harms,
know,
your
at the
family
end of the
told-
day, when she doesn't know, she's just looking for herself in every man. She's just looking for herself.
But Your Honor, she gonna stop.
The man said, I'm your father.
She's gonna stop looking today, Your Honor.
Because you are confident,
Yes.
beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Mr. Long is your daughter's biological
Honor.
father. Mr. Long, after today's testimony, seeing the evidence presented here today,
Look at that.
do you believe you are Miss Robinson's biological father?
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's a possibility.
When I got the first picture of her, she looked like my daddy to me. So naturally, I said, well, it could be my daughter. But then I lost contact with her, with the mother,
And he looks like my grandson.
until today.
That's what's blowing me away. The ears, the cleft chin, the nose, the lips, the head. I mean,
It's all
I'm
there.
standing here like.
Can I do this?
But of course, I can't believe it, because I don't deserve anything, so I can't believe that he looks like me.
I'm here today, Your Honor, to try to fill that void and that hole in her heart so she can be at peace.
Because I ain't. And I got a
Well,
lot
if
of
you
hate
didn't
for
have
you.
so much mouth, maybe
That
somebody
has
could
nothing
deal with
to
you.
do with you. Let me know who my daddy is. Without
you
me
leave
Let's
the
just
world.
stop right there, because you all just alike. You mother and daughter, all right? Because
Yep,
both of
we
you
sure
all,
are. I can clap
you
it.
all both got mouths on you. You both got to have the last word.
That's right.
So that you all are just alike. But the only way we're really going to move forward today is to get these results. Mm-hmm. And I have them for you. Jerome?
They
Thank
come
you.
out right.
I hope so too, for you.
We know that there's a lot at stake.
If not, I'm gonna keep going. I shouldn't have to keep going after Miss Long.
I hope.
But I'm just gonna do whatever to make you happy. 'Cause I love you.
Ms. Harms, you just said to your daughter, if not, you're going to keep going. Do you have a question in your mind as to
No,
whether?
ma'am.
Because you seem sure.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Let's get the truth. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Robinson versus Long, when it comes to 36-year-old Jennifer Robinson, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Long, you are her father.
I told you I'm sorry. I told you I love you so much. I can't go hug your dad. Okay, now you'll be a hole. You don't have a hole in your heart anymore. Your Honor, may I speak, please?
Couldn't find it.
This is the second.
Can your daughter talk to her daddy, please?
Yes, but
Okay, wait. We already know you was right. Now, Ms. Robinson. Ms. Robinson,
yes, thank
there's your daddy. You've been looking for him. I don't know how in the world you all still got your places across the aisle. Don't you want to hug your daughter?
All right, baby. I got you now.
Right. I can't believe it.
You can go stand with her.
Oh,
Ms. Robinson,
Yes, Your Honor.
this is a beautiful day for you.
It is.
I'm so happy for
My
you.
kid's gonna be so happy.
Do you have daughters?
Yes.
Yep.
Then that means you want to make sure that your daughters and their daughters don't repeat this.
Yes.
Ms. Baker, you say the fate of your marriage is riding on today's DNA results. You are suing to prove that your 3-month-old son, Caleb, was fathered by your husband, Mr. Baker.
Yes, Your
Now,
Honor.
Mr. Baker, you say it's medically impossible for you to have a child, and therefore Caleb cannot be yours. You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, you will leave your wife and family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Baker, you say the relationship truly is on the rocks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
At the time I got pregnant, I was drinking quite a bit. I was drinking pretty much every day, and I was blacking out at night, and I wouldn't remember periods of time. I wouldn't remember.
Whether you were intimate with another man or not.
Yes, Your Honor. It's not fair to Mr. Baker, you know, and I love him with all my heart.
Mr. Baker, before this, was there a lack of trust in the relationship?
Well, Your Honor, to be completely honest, when Felice and I had gotten together, the way that we got together was I had done some work in her home, and that's the way that we met. And we didn't do everything right. And I don't condone the actions that we took in our relationship. I was married, she was married. And whenever you have two people who are in a monogamous relationship come together the way that we did, there's always going to cast doubt on the back of your mind. How do I know she wouldn't do this to me? We did it to each other. And when we did that, we hurt a lot of people. We have 12 children today, but 11 children were deeply hurt because of the actions that we made. So because of how we got together, decisions that we made, there's always been that little nagging.
I mean, if she did it to him, she'll do it to me. If he did it to her, he'll do it to me. Absolutely. But it doesn't seem like that's your only doubt.
Well, just knowing other situations, you know, that went on in her marriage before she was with me.
Explain.
There were spending issues that were taking place in the marriage that he didn't know about. And I mean, to the point where, you know, that had put her in national limelight because she was overspending behind his back.
So you had instances in your previous marriage
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
that you said were revealed on the national stage, the limelight.
Well, I know that she had went on a very public show.
Which show did you go on?
The Oprah Winfrey Show.
Okay. And I wanted you to confirm that because I actually do remember that episode. And I remember your husband thought you were a certain amount of money in debt,
Correct, Your Honor.
but you were lying and it was the number was like
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
Yes, Your Honor.
I remember that. Mr. Baker, knowing that also affects your ability to trust her.
Correct.
Ms. Baker, have you lied about cheating on Mr. Baker? Have you cheated on him?
No, I have not cheated on Mr. Baker, Your Honor. There's no recollection of anything ever happening to me while I was drinking, but just that thing in the back of my mind just keeps going, you know, did something happen to me and I just don't remember?
So the truth is that you don't really remember. You don't recall because of the drinking.
Correct, Your Honor.
What could have transpired?
Correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Baker, you say that it's medically impossible for you to have fathered this child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Back in 1991, when my ex was pregnant with our 4th child, while she was pregnant, I had a vasectomy. And so based upon the research that I have done regarding vasectomies, once the procedure hits the 20-year mark, they literally put it into the realm of impossibility. So since it's been 23 years after a vasectomy, you've got to question, is it even possible for me to even conceive a child?
When you found out you were pregnant, you told your husband.
Well, what happened is I noticed I was getting a little bit of a belly, and it had been 3.5 months since I had a period. Actually, I thought I was going through menopause, and I mentioned to Mr. Baker that I, hadn't had my menstrual cycle in 3 months, and he said, well, if you're pregnant, it's not for me. And so we went to the store and got a pregnancy test, and it at that time came out positive. And so he didn't believe the pregnancy test, so we went over to another store and bought 2 expensive tests, and both of those came out positive also.
When you found this out, Mr. Baker, what was your first thought?
I went on the internet. I Googled what can cause a false positive. And there's only 4 conditions that a false positive will show up on a pregnancy test. Obviously, number 1 is pregnancy. Number 2 is ovarian cancer. Number 3 is uterus cancer. Number 4 is any cancerous tumors in the uterus. I never slept that night because the only thing that's going through my mind is the obvious. Well, I know she's not pregnant because I had a vasectomy. I let her sleep through the night. I didn't sleep a wink, went to work the next day. She calls me up at 11 o'clock crying hysterically. And I said, honey, what's wrong? She says, I'm not pregnant. I said, what do you mean you're not pregnant? How do you know? She goes, I'm dying of ovarian cancer.
Because
I have every symptom. Because she went and researched.
Looked up the same thing.
Yes.
Yes, I looked up the same thing the following day and, read the cancer. So that's when I thought maybe I had cancer, because you could have the bloating belly just like you are pregnant. And I didn't feel pregnant. I've had 8 children of my own. I know what it feels like to be pregnant. Once I read that, we went to the emergency room. We waited around for 5 hours in the emergency room, and Mr. Baker actually left to go get me something to eat. And when he came back, I had already found out that I was 3.5 months pregnant.
And so at that point, Mr. Baker, when you find out she is pregnant, is that a new set of worry and mistrust?
You could only imagine what was going through my mind.
Yes. I can understand why you had doubt. Oh. And I can most certainly understand why that opened up another can of worry worms for you.
I couldn't believe it myself. I just took it as that it was a total miracle from God. Because of the baby, I quit drinking. So I just took it from God that he put this baby in my stomach to save me from my drinking, and also I was taking pills.
There's another part to this, Your Honor. Our one regret was that we never had a child together. We contacted a gentleman who is the predominant specialist on vasectomy reversal in the entire nation, located in San Diego, and they sent us a package, because we discussed getting a reversal so that we can have a child. And when we thought about it, we have 11 children, 5 grandchildren. Here, forget it. And we threw the package away. And then 6 months later, we regretted that we threw it away, and we ordered a second one. And then we went through the same process again, and regrettably, we threw away that second one.
And now your wife is pregnant.
You know, my attitude is very simple. It better be a miracle from God.
And you were in your 40s.
Yeah, 45. So, and because of everything, and he doubted it, we at least took 20 ultrasounds. We went and had 20 ultrasounds of the 3D, 4D to see what the baby looked like, to see if it looked like him.
And it must be hard to really wrap your head around the fact that your husband It's 49. That already, I mean,
Yeah,
as men age, their sperm count dwindles as well. It's not just women.
that's true.
Well, at this point, the court would like to call an expert witness, Dr. Jamila Gator from Rise Wellness and Spa. Jerome, can you please escort Ms. Gator into the courtroom? Hello, Dr. Gator.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking to Mr. and Ms. Baker. They have a very interesting situation where Mr. Baker admits that he had a vasectomy almost 20 plus years ago.
Wow.
And Ms. Baker, at 45 years old, becomes pregnant. And so we need to rely on you to give us some insight as to the possibility of a 49-year-old man that has had a vasectomy being able to father a child.
Well, a 49 to 50-year-old man really doesn't have issues with fertility typically. 85% of sperm counts at that age are going to be normal. As you age, it's really more the quality of the sperm, and that tends to be affected by lifestyle factors such as smoking and drinking.
Okay.
However, in Mr. Baker's case, he's had a vasectomy, and if it was a successful vasectomy, then the sperm count should be 0, and it would be impossible for him to father a child. But what often happens is that men don't do the proper follow-up after the vasectomy to ensure that it was, in fact, successful.
And what is that follow-up exactly?
Typically 3 months and then again a year later for follow-up.
All right, and so, Mr. Baker, did you do the 3-month follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at that time, were you told that the vasectomy, the procedure had gone well?
I was good to go. I was cleared.
You were?
Yes.
Okay, and so he did that, and then what would be the next step after that, Dr. Gator?
Well, then to follow up again at a year to make sure that the vasectomy did not fail.
Did you follow up at a year? Mr. Baker?
No, Your Honor.
You did not.
And that's typical. Only 8% of men do their year follow-up. But
Really?
Yes, yes.
Oh, with a procedure that important?
Well, usually the second follow-up procedure was if you failed the first one. But if you passed the first one and you have, 0 sperm count, then you were good to go.
Okay.
The year follow-up is actually, like we were talking about before, to make sure that the vasectomy doesn't fail. It's very rare, but in about 4,000 cases, the vas deferens, which is the tube that carries a sperm, that's what we cut during the procedure. And very rarely that tube can grow back over time. So when we ask you to follow up at a year's time, we're checking a sperm count to make sure that there's still no sperm and to make sure that that tube did not grow back together.
And that was the follow-up that he missed?
Correct.
Where they would have checked to see if potentially it almost would have reconnected itself.
Reconnected, exactly. So when we look at this, it does not make it impossible for him to father a child. He should have about a 1.5% chance of fathering a child.
Very, very slim.
Yes.
But possible.
Possible. It only takes 1 sperm.
Ms. Baker, based upon what you've heard, Dr. Gator explained to us today, how are you feeling now?
I just believe that the Lord, had this happen.
And so you are hanging your hat on the 1.5% because you truly believe this is your husband's child.
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Baker, your contention is if in fact this child is not your biological child, you are going to leave the relationship.
Your Honor, how could you trust? Well, I blanked out. I didn't know. I mean, how could you trust? I don't mean to sound cold. I love my son. I love him with all my heart. Your wife's drowning, your son's drowning, and you're right there, and you want to save them both, but you can't save them both. I mean, it's an impossible decision. I mean, like I said, Your Honor, today there's a lot at stake here. Not just for me. I mean, that little boy who loves Daddy.
Exactly.
Our children, I mean, devastating. I mean, we have a blended family that people only dream of because our children love each other and they're best friends and they support each other. I mean, you're talking about a devastating end result if this comes back anything other than a miracle from God.
You know, I, in my heart of hearts, believe it is Mr. Baker's. I do not recall any other guy doing anything to me while I had drank. There's no recollection. This man is the love of my life, and I would be devastated if that son came out not his.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Baker versus Baker, when it comes to 3-month-old Caleb Baker, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Baker, you are the father. You know, this is a courtroom where very special things happen, right, bro? But this, I must say.
It's just been a very tough road. And we've had to rebuild walls that were broken down and help restore lives that were destroyed because of actions that we made. But I wouldn't trade the relationship with the love of my life, and I thank God for his blessings. And
Ms. Baker, I have to say, there was one thing you said in your testimony is you felt like maybe this baby was a gift from God because as soon as you found out you were pregnant, you stopped drinking.
Yes.
And you've been sober.
Yes.
Stay on that path. Ms. Yancy, you are here to save your family by proving to your boyfriend that he fathered your 7-month-old son, Kahari. You testify that his paternity denial is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Thomas, you claim that after finding pictures of Ms. Yancy and the baby with another man, you are convinced you are not Kahari's biological father. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Yancy, tell us why this court date is so important.
Well, it's important because, we've been having a few issues ever since my baby was born. It would go, he was there through the entire pregnancy, and we would go back and forth after the baby was born about, the baby doesn't look like him, the baby looks like me, or, the baby.
So you feel like this paternity resolution is important in terms of saving your relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
So your relationship's on the line, Mr. Thomas? A lot going on right now because of these paternity doubts?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
What do you mean? Do you feel like you don't know if you're gonna stay or you're gonna go? Where are you at with this?
Right now, Your Honor, it's hard, because I do love her and all. And throughout the whole relationship, we always talked about having a child together. But, now it's like we're at a point where it's a child, but I possibly might not be the father, so it kind of hurts, so.
And Kahari is 7 months old. And you worried about, is it your baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Yancy, talk to me about the nature of your relationship with Mr. Thomas during the period of time right before you got pregnant.
We were just getting back together. We were still,
There was a little brief breakup?
Yes.
Okay.
He was seeing somebody, and then I started seeing somebody, but basically that all transpired from us just not being pretty much truthful with each other. And
yeah, and even, like she said, even at the time, we were both seeing someone, we were still seeing each other. So it wasn't like.
Well.
Were you broken up or were you together?
More like friends with benefits.
Yeah, well.
But were you also dating and sleeping with other people?
I didn't start dating and sleeping with other people until Maurice had seen me giving my friend a ride. We were going out. He seen me at the gas station with him, And all this stuff came out. He started cussing me out and texting me and calling me out my name. And
Well, yeah, I
he
mean,
was
if
following me
you're
in my car.
If you're in a relationship with somebody,
we weren't in a
you don't go
relationship,
and
like-
give another man a ride and not
But I
bring it up.
thought y'all said you all were broken
Right,
up.
exactly. When we were breaking up,
That's not
to
correct.
me, I felt like we were over.
If we were over,
and I told him that multiple times.
If we were so
we're
over,
done.
you
Don't
wouldn't-
call me. Don't come to my house. Do not disturb me. Leave me alone.
But
he
at the same
continued to
time,
be
she's
persistent.
still calling me. She'll still come to my mom's house, ask me for little things, you know what I mean, to help her out with this or that, and I would. So if we're so broken up, there's no need for you to come ask me. Go ask your new friend if you're messing
And
with
that's
somebody.
fine. And that's fine. So why would you take it upon yourself to follow me in my car to
And that's the thing. See,
I'm talking to my new friend. Why are you following
She said I
me?
was following her, but at that time, where we live at, it's the weekend, so everyone goes to the gas station, they hang out, and then they go to the clubs. That's all
What?
we're doing.
Is that
That's
what we doing
Fresno
now?
for you.
That sounds like high school. Y'all look
It
too
is
old to be
immature.
hanging out at the gas
It is
station.
immature.
That's like what you do after the high school football game. Go over to the gas station and to the fast food restaurant. You all too old for this in more ways than one.
Right.
So, Mr. Thomas, take me to the time you found out Miss Yancy was pregnant. When did you find that out?
We were sitting at my mom's house, and, you know, she came and she said that she took a pregnancy test and she's pregnant. And I'm like, you know, I was happy for the simple fact that over the years we were trying to conceive and have a baby. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, yes, it finally happened. And then after she told me, she left and texted me that the baby might not be mine.
That's correct.
Oh.
And I told him, and once I started thinking about the conception date and the day I conceived, we were on a breakup. And I was seeing someone else. And so was he.
But it's like you were already seeing someone before the breakup, if that's the case.
No, if that's the case, it was the same with you.
Unfortunately, we've got to focus on your sexual practices during the time, Ms. Yancy, because we have a paternity question concerning Kahari, which is your baby.
Right.
See, when you get in this loosey-goosey phase, nothing good comes of it.
Right.
There's no boundaries. You all still having sex with each other, presumably unprotected. And then you still out there having sex with other people too. All that matters. It makes a mess that you have to then figure out how to clean up. And we all got the tools to mess up. But then we act like we don't have the materials to clean up.
Right. Yes.
That's what this courtroom is. We're the cleanup court. That's what we do. We clean up messes here. So that Kahari doesn't have to live in it. Was Mr. Thomas supportive when you were pregnant with Kahari? Was he there for you?
Yes, Your Honor, absolutely.
The whole way?
The whole way.
Even though you sent that text back and said it might not be your child?
Yes, I explained to him that, you know, I was skeptical.
And even though she was skeptical, you know, she told me, and I had my doubts, but at the same time, it was like the 50% chance it is mine. I don't want to have the son, you know what I mean, born in this world without being there for him. So regardless, I stepped up and,
Right, as you
you know what I mean,
should.
chose to be there for her.
You made the choice.
Yes, regardless, I made the choice to be there, you know what I mean, and help out
And
with everything.
throughout the pregnancy, you were there. Doctor's
Correct.
appointments, you went there when Kahari was born, you were at the hospital.
That's correct.
So when you see the baby, newborn, beautiful baby, what were you thinking?
The first thing I was thinking, I mean, I was overcome with emotions, you know what I mean? I'm happy, I'm like, you know, it's about time. I see him, and it's like, he's a handsome young man, but I just don't feel like he's mine.
Why? Who did he look like?
He looked like his mother.
So what's wrong with that? I mean, it's a new baby. She's the mother.
Hey, yeah, and it's true, but you know, it's this thing I used to say, like, if it looks like the mother too much, then it might not be the father or something.
Oh, boo. Wait, now did you make this up or this is something you heard?
No, that's just something I came up with myself, Your Honor.
Okay, you came up with this yourself.
Yeah.
So did you sign the birth certificate even though the baby looked like Miss Yancy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what you talking about then?
Just being in a hospital, watching them being born, being in a whole pregnancy, just being in the moment, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to go through all that and not believe that they're not the father or nothing, you know? So, of course, I signed it. Just emotions and overwhelmed with love for him and her and just being there at the time.
All right, I'll accept that. Because even though that's the wrong thing to do, that's honest what you said. You got caught up in the emotion of it.
Yeah.
You loved her. You loved the baby because you thought it could potentially be your baby.
And then I also have a son of my own, and he had like an extra little pinky finger, and Kahari also had that when he was born. So that sort of eased out all the doubts I had, you know what I mean?
Oh, so you had a son who was born with the 6th finger.
Yes.
And so when Kahari was born with it,
I noticed the same thing, so that just took out all the little doubt or whatnot I had, and
okay, and you felt like, you know what?
I felt like he's mine.
This is my baby.
I'm here, yes.
And I'm gonna sign this birth certificate.
That's correct.
When do you start doubting again?
We had took a trip to Fresno to go visit family, and I ended up going through her phone, and I noticed that she has pictures with Kahari and the other man that could possibly be the father.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why were you taking pictures with the other guy, Miss Yancy?
My mom looked at him and she told me straight up, I don't think that that's Maurice's son, and I think that you should get in contact with his biological father.
And that's cool and all, but at the same time, if we're together, why couldn't you have just told me? Why hide it and make it a big deal? You know what I mean?
I wasn't trying to hide it. I just felt like there was a particular time and place for that. and I
But you
felt like-
realize by not telling him, that just fueled his doubt even more.
Right, right. And I understand that. I can understand where he's coming from on that aspect. And so, like I said, I never meant for it to go that way, but my intentions was to explain to him and tell him.
But after how long? Because we were back for like I said, 4 or 5 days. And then we had an 8-hour ride together. And then, I mean, you could have talked to me in the car anytime in between.
How long ago did you take the family trip to
About
Fresno?
2 months.
Oh, it's just 2 months ago?
Yes.
What has it been like for the last 2 months?
I mean, it's been kind of hard because, you know, I've grown to love him. We've got a bond together. And, you know what I mean, after seeing that picture, it's like, if you feel like this, then why should I continue to be around if you're trying to put him or put another man in his life that hasn't been there or doesn't want to be there?
Oh, the other man doesn't
He doesn't
want...
know that, and that's not true.
I'm just saying, like, I'm the only one that's been there, and
He doesn't want to give the other man an opportunity.
I'll give him an
Does
opportunity.
the other man want to be in
Yes,
Kahari's
he
life?
does.
He
And
does.
if he does,
yes.
and if it's not mine, then
But
I'll step away, and he can be in his
and
life.
that's what he feels. He's gonna step down to let the other man
It's
take
his
care of
son.
his child.
Yeah,
which
it's
is,
his child.
Which is ridiculous because we have a whole family. We're in a relationship. We have a house. We have a car. We have everything intertwined.
Yeah, we're in a relationship, and we were in a relationship when we took that family trip. But
Right.
in your eyes, you didn't come and tell me as a family. So
Well, let the church say amen. Miss Yancy, I have to agree with Mr. Thomas's logic. I think you should have informed him in advance.
He wouldn't have went for it at all.
So
and
you
that's
felt
just
like he
knowing.
would have just said no.
He either would have said no, or he would have given up on us and said, "Do what you're gonna do."
she's still having communications with this guy, and without me knowing.
I'm not really having communications.
You're not really
with
having
him.
communications, but then again,
Only
you're.
if it's important.
Oh,
I
but
send him pictures
what's
of the
important,
baby.
Your Honor? If he's not around, well, how is it important to him? He's not there every night,
So you,
waking up, changing,
you
making
send
bottles.
him pictures of Kahari?
Every now and again.
And that's something I just found out right now. I never knew that.
Yeah, just like I found out just recently when we took the trip to Fresno that he was actually born with extra fingers on both sides of his hand. So that
Who was?
the other potential dad.
Now that is an incredible coincidence.
I didn't know that either until we took the trip and we were talking about everything.
So what are your hopes, Miss Yancy? What are you thinking? What do you want from this?
My hopes is for Maurice to be the father of my child. Those are my hopes.
Yeah, she has this other man that she's saying is the father, and she's still sending him pictures. Why?
And why are you crying, Miss Yancy? What?
I'm just emotional. It's just annoying that he just feels like, oh, it's so negative on my end. It's all this negative. He's done stuff too. He's made.
But what I've
relationship-
done didn't bring a child in our
It
relationship.
doesn't matter.
We're not.
It doesn't matter.
My mistakes
You
didn't bring us here today.
You didn't bring a child. You're right. You didn't. But there was plenty of ulterior motive that you had to get back at me for stupid stuff. So it's okay. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just here to get them DNA results so I can have closure and move forward. Whatever you're gonna do, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
What
I
are you going to
appreciate
do?
you.
What are you going to do, Mr. Thomas? I mean, have you thought about what you're going to do if you're not the biological father?
If I'm not the biological father, then I'm going to step away and let her continue to put the other man in Kahari's life so he could be his father, like she wants. Because he wants to be the father also.
So you're saying if the baby's not your biological child, you're done with the whole relationship?
In a way, yes.
He's saying that.
In a way.
Yeah,
See, now we back to loosey-goosey, which didn't get us anywhere in the first place.
Well, yes, because I don't want to be sitting around just being a stepdad while I'm raising a kid.
That's crazy because you've been a stepdad for almost 5 years.
And
to all
5
my
years, I'm
other
tired of
kids.
being a stepdad.
You're tired of being a stepdad? Well, then you need to figure it out. It's deeper than this. You need to figure it out regardless.
I'm going to say this, Miss Yancy. Better him say this now than convince you that everything is perfect, only to every other day bring up, or every time your child's father have to come pick him up, it'd be an issue.
Right.
So now we know where we are. Let's find out where we're going. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Yancy versus Thomas, when it comes to 7-month-old Kahari Thomas, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
It's okay, Your Honor. It's all right. I mean, I still love her and I still love him at the end of the day, but if she wants to build a father-son relationship with Kahari and the other man, then I feel like there's no need for me to try to build a strong relationship with him.
Well, that's not true. Now, see, listen, I support you in your truth, but I'm not going to let you tell yourself a lie. It's not that you don't have a place just because you're not the biological father. A child can't have too much love. And you've done something beautiful for this child, that you've ushered this child in the world with love and acceptance, even when you weren't sure. That's a good thing. That's a blessing. So now we've got to figure out how we manage all of these circumstances that you both brought into play, right?
Correct.
So from here on out, we got to change that.